weather update, it's wet. It's absolutely hammering it down. I'm cowering underneath this umbrella, and poor Luke behind the camera is getting absolutely drenched. But yeah, this is heavy, heavy rain. The forecast saying this is light rain, completely off guard. So this 2-hour race is going to be very, very interesting in this kind of changeable weather conditions. And as we've seen already, it's not been stable. The rain comes, then it goes quite quickly afterwards. So it kind of hammers it down, and then it starts to dry a bit up after that. So far it hasn't let up in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, but yeah, it's very wet, it's very heavy rain out here at the moment, so it could be a very interesting race coming up.
Down the start-finish straight, and the race should officially start now. So we've started the countdown of 2 hours, but we have started under safety car conditions, sadly.
Yeah, absolutely nothing to indicate why that is so. I imagine it is just the conditions giving the drivers another chance to see what that is. And but it does mean that they will not be starting 2 by 2 when they do go. They will be starting single file, which is probably a little bit safer in these conditions.
Very true.
Especially with the speed that they would be arriving at Riches in. So that might just be one of the reasons for it. You mentioned the sun is trying to break its way through the clouds, so that's going to create that glare off the circuit as well. So that's an added hazard for the drivers to deal with, but the clock is now counting down from 2 hours. So a bit like road sports yesterday when we started behind the safety car, we're going to be doing the same here. That was because there was an incident. There was the Ryan parking car that needed to be recovered in that case. This time I think it is just because of the conditions. Now is that I think that's the Ginetta. Yeah, that's going to start from the pit lane. It's an invitation class car, and it is going to now join into the back of the queue. That was always planned that car would start from the pit lane.
Okay, that car was due to start from 8th. Oh, there was another car in
which was
pit lane, the Lotus.
Yeah. Was that the 119 car that started?
Or was it potentially the Brooks car that had withdrawn? Because I thought the Lotus.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen the Lotus already on the register. The other one, the Peter Mansfield.
We'll see
car.
It is
the 119. It is the 119. Okay, so that's come in at the end of the formation lap.
Well, and that was the car that was on class pole position as well, wasn't it? In Class B, Peter Mansfield in that car. So
yes.
Maybe there was just a problem with that car on the green flag lap, or there was a change that needed to the setup because of the conditions. Not quite sure. So, but either way. Well, the pole position car in Class B is now at the back of the field.
That promotes Will Puttergill, of course, in 83, which is the Motion Motorsport run Honda Civic Type R. And Will is in very good hands alongside Chris Nyland, who is a winner in this category in an NSX, and also a winner in Type R Trophy. Came second in the championship only to Jake Hewlett, which is very high praise. So Will's in good company there in 83, which has now effectively inherited the class pole position.
Safety car lights are still on, so it looks like we're going to get at least one more lap behind the safety car. I think they might have gone off by now if it was the case, so it looks like there's going to be at least one more lap. There was a spin for one car, I think, which is the Oliver Harris BMW. That had a spin at Oggies, but has been able to continue. But that was, of course, behind the safety car, which is never a great look.
The 151 car has gotten out onto the racetrack, but don't be confused. I think they haven't quite put the 1 stickers on the side of that car at the very least. It's gone out there with the number 5 on it, but it is 151 on the entry list, which is the Jonathan Packer and Jamie Headley VW Golf.
And it is showing as 5 on the grid and on the timing screens, and it's only showing at the moment with Packer as the only driver in that car.
Interesting.
So
okay, let me update my sheet.
Must have changed the number because it does normally run as 5.
Yes, I thought it was odd.
I imagine what happened was there was another number 5 that ended at one point, so they numbered it 151, and then they realised that there wasn't a number 5 here after all, so they could just run with the original number without some extra bits of tape.
And that car was on the reserve list for the road sports race yesterday, which was won by Scott Parkin. Incidentally, that was his first win of the season there. You mentioned the Ryan parking incident yesterday. Very odd one in that sister car. Front left failure. Some element of the suspension on the formation lap. And Scott rightly pointing out afterwards, thank goodness it happened on the formation lap, not at the first corner or anywhere else running at speed. And the Darkside Developments team working hard to get that car ready. There it is, that number 6 car, which is the more technically advanced of the 2 Audi TTs from that team. Scott Parkin started the season in that car, which has the fancier suspension and the sequential gearbox, but ended up giving that car to Ryan and Dylan for the remainder of the season at Silverstone. So the car that Scott is driving has the H-pattern gearbox, which he seems to prefer. And that might be why we haven't seen him romping clear up at the front of the field as we may have done in recent years.
It's going to be interesting to watch the progress of those 2 cars that are at the back that joined from the pit lane. The 7 car of Daniel Perry, that was 8th fastest in the session this morning, and then obviously the 119 car, which is the fastest car in Class B, 12th fastest overall. So it'll be interesting to see how those cars progress in the early laps of this race once we go full green flag racing, which hopefully won't be too far away now. I don't know if it's stopped raining, but it's certainly eased off considerably from where it was. So I'm hopeful that the spray now doesn't appear to be too bad, so hopeful that we will be able to get racing underway reasonably shortly here at Snetterton on the 300 circuit for round 4 of the 2025 Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. 2 more meetings to go after this at Alton Park and at Donington Park to complete the season. Champions will be crowned in those final couple of meetings. Safety car lights are off, so safety car is going to pull in at the end of this lap. So that's tremendous news, and we'll be able to have racing underway with probably about an hour and 52 minutes left to go. So safety car lights out. That will make a beeline for the pit lane, and then it's going to be down to Simon Morger to control the pace here.
Simon Major already a winner this season. Didn't contest the first round of Croft, but came to Silverstone, won there on his own in his eponymous race team, but now in the company of Alan Blenko as well as he was yesterday. Let's see how he goes as they emerge now out of Murray, so we get this race underway.
Yeah, Marshall with the green flag waves it now. I can see from the gantry beneath us, and yeah, we get racing properly underway then. Single file start, of course. Already it looked like Scott Parkin was trying to make a move as he went up into Richie's for the first time, but it's Simon Major leading 23. Chris Byallen is in second place, gap back to Wayne Lawson in third, and then it's it's Ryan Scott Parkin indeed coming up on the inside there. He's getting third place away, then fourth is Blakey, and fifth is going to be Gadsby, I think, in the BMW Compact.
So Scott Parkin already splitting the TCR cars up from fifth on the grid into third by the time they come out of the Wilson hairpin. So really great stuff. But that's the leader off the road on the exit of Palmer, all over the grass, and finding there's no grip out there at all. Somehow has not lost the lead to Chris Byallen and has managed to just hold the advantage going into Agostini. So great stuff there from Simon Major, but he'll be very aware of that next time he comes around Palmer. And of course the good thing about front wheel drive is that when you're getting oversteer, you can just plant your right foot and get all the power over to the front wheels. But he is under big pressure from Byallen now in that similar Cupra TCR, the Piranha Motorsport run machine compared to the Major Run car that leads. Slippery surface flags are out there. No real surprises there, but no. Scott Parkin right there in third position, being closely followed by the BMW.
And the Ginetta that was starting from the back already into the pits. This not one of the scheduled stops. That's the number 7 car of Daniel Perry, that Ginetta G55. But it's Major leading as they head down to the left-hander at Brundle. Byallen in second place. These two Coopers treading very carefully through. Then it's Scott Parkin in the Audi, then Gadsby We were told certainly they were starting in the BMW Compact, but that's going well in this early part of the race. That's in 4th position. Bit of a gap back then to 5th, which is still Wayne Lawson. Oh, and that's a big moment, because that's the Ginetta of one of the front runners in Class B. Matthew Tidmarsh and Chris Webster Ginetta, I think, has gone round there. That is on the exit of Williams, I think, onto the Bentley Straight, and that's on the grass, so 3/4 on the grass, certainly on the infield as the cars come through to complete lap number 3, but the first flying lap of racing. No change in the order among the top 2, but we do now have the BMW up to 3rd place, Chris.
Yes, we do. So Scott Parkin losing out there to the Gatsby BMW, which is certainly a more modified machine compared to the cars it is racing. You look at the age difference between these machines, but he's looking very racy and challenging for 2nd place. Tucked up behind the Cupra, though, very nearly opened up the door for Scott Parkin to slide down the inside going into the Wilson hairpin. I imagine that BMW is probably running a fair fewer kilos than the cars around it, which in these conditions is probably really helping it as they come out of Palmer. You see the major car taking a much more conservative line through Palmer, and actually that time it was Gadsby who was squiggling around the back end coming out of Palmer. Of course, that's rear drive versus front wheel drive, getting very deep into the Agostini hairpin, very nearly finding the grass on the outside line. Completely different lines being taken by these drivers. Their cars have got very different performance characteristics and very different ways of delivering the power.
Absolutely, so it makes it a really fascinating race, especially in these conditions.
Safety car again.
Safety car panel being shown. Not sure why that is just yet.
Potentially for the Ginetta, if that's still
of course,
towards the barriers. We're going to see here on the exit of the corner, I assume.
Yeah, that's
if
where
we pan over to the left, we'll probably see a Ginetta in the barriers somewhere.
No.
Or one that's just been recovered because the marshals have gone back to the other side.
Yeah, it's just on its way.
Yes, exactly. So they've helped to push it away. So that was the number 8 car, Matthew Tidmarsh, wasn't it? It was one of the Class B cars. Maybe we just got that call in to do the safety car right as we got that car going, unless there's some other incident on the racetrack that we haven't quite seen yet. Although looking at the CCTV cameras, nothing glaringly obvious is popping out at me,
and nothing at the time of screen either that indicates that anyone else is missing that we're expecting. So this could be one of those very short safety car periods. Now we've called it, we've got to sort of run with it.
We have to go through the whole procedure now. It's a bit unfortunate, really,
but it's one of those things. It was the right thing to do, because I did look at that and think, that's going to need a safety car. But good work from the marshals just to get that Ginetta, not the heaviest car in the world, so that made it life a bit easier. So to get that back onto the track.
So we're just going to update you on the other classes then. It is the 83 of Will Puttigal, the Motion Motorsport Honda Civic, that continues to lead in Class B, having inherited the pole position after the pole sitter came into pit lane during that first safety car period. It's Jonathan Packer who's made up 3 places from his grid position to move up to 2nd in class, ahead of the 183, the 2 Cooks in the Audi TT, the 183 machine, which I don't have a team entry for, but they're in 3rd position. Then in Class C, it is the 63 of Oliver Harris in the BMW E36 that leads in 16th position overall, ahead of the 77 of Henry Salisbury in the Honda Civic. 3rd in that class is Vitius Pipiris in the number 20 Honda Civic Type R.
And there's the Tidmarsh Ginetta back into the pits. The Flying Tangerine Motorsport car, number 8, is into the pit garage. Now they'll hope to be able to just do some work on that car, check it over, and get it back out into the race, and hopefully pick up some points, which could be important for the championship.
That is hugely important, because, of course, that car is 2nd in the championship going into this weekend in Class B. Bearing in mind that the car that's 3rd in the standings...
and that's Puttergill. That's the Puttergill car that is straight on at Ridges. That's the championship leading car.
So I was just going to say, so the Brooks car that was 3rd in the championship that's withdrawn. We've had the second place car off the road at Williams, and now the championship leader, not just the class championship leader, but the overall championship leader, the Motion Motorsport Will Puttergill car that has had back-to-back victories going into this weekend, is off the road at Ritchie's, and there doesn't seem to be too many signs just yet of it being able to get onto the racetrack again. Extraordinary drama.
And that, I think, must have happened under the safety car. So, unless it's, my car's broken, I'm just going to coast and stop here, but a bizarre thing to happen behind the safety car. That car is still up there, beyond the marshal's post at Richards. We can just see it from our commentary box window. And, yeah, no sign of that it's going to be able to get back into the race without some outside assistance. So, dramas here with the championship leading car, Will Puttergill, the Motion Motorsport Honda Civic Type R, seemingly out of the race at this very early stage, unless that in some way can be recovered and he can get back involved. But that's a big drama. So, yeah, maybe this is one of those championships that nobody wants to win and everyone finds ways to sort of have problems and retirements and failures.
That car was leading in its class, of course, right before that safety car. So that has now promoted Jonathan Packer into the lead of the race in Class B. Now I notice he's absent from the championship standings. Has he not been out this year, Jonathan Packer?
Don't think he has, no.
Interesting. Or is he quite a regular face in this championship?
He has been.
Normally. And I haven't seen the Club Enduros out for some time now, probably since the end of last year.
Yeah. Just looking at the circuit stuff here, just having a look at the barriers. So I think obviously the Tidmarsh Ginetta did make contact with the barriers there on the Benny track. They're just checking that those barriers are not damaged and whether there's any repair work needed. There is now, as you can see on the live stream, the recovery truck heading towards Ritchie's to try and recover the Puttergill Honda.
But before the truck goes over those, it's taking a different route, you can see there is evidence of how Puttergill ended up there. And they sort of tell a story, really, don't they, of either a big lock-up or some sort of failure on that car that has put Puttergill into the gravel, and what we could now comfortably say is out of this race.
Yeah, going to be lifted onto the back of the low loader, I think, to remove that car back to the pit lane. But so looking like that car out of the race.
Car 17, which is the Morgan Sparrow Mazda MX-5 in Class C, has been given a 1 minute stop and go penalty at the end of this safety car period. Now, not quite an explanation as to why.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be a safety car infringement that has led to that. So
quite possibly. So that car is 7th in Class C at the moment, 22nd overall.
Yeah, so just looking at my information, yes, confirmed that the Puttergill car does need a tow, and yes, this is the 1 minute stop and go penalty now to be served at the end of the safety car period by car number 17, which is one of the Class C contenders.
Well, we started with 28, we're down to 25 already.
Yeah,
and we've only had about 6 or 7 minutes of green flag.
Well, I mean, there's a chat. I don't know what happened with Perry, because obviously that came into the pits after just one lap, didn't it, in the Ginetta G55, but that car could come out, and so too could the Tidmarsh car as well, potentially could get back out into the race, and they'll be especially minded to do that now, knowing that the Puttergill car is not in the race, and they can help to sort of limit the damage from their own misfortune. Let's head down to the pit lane now, and Kieran Mogg.
Thank you very much. Yes, so I'm just down with the Motion Motorsport guys at the moment, and they're not actually 100% sure what's happened just yet. So the car's obviously gone off down into the gravel trap. They're not sure exactly what's going on, so they're still waiting on news at that. The number 7, Ginetta, is also here. They're having some electrical gremlins. So essentially what happened was they went out of the the pit lane, had a bit of an electrical issue, but managed to sort it. They did a lap, and then it started to play up again. They brought it back in, and mechanics are inside the car at the moment, just trying to figure out what the issue is. So they're going through the electrical components of the car, going through the systems, just trying to find out the cause of the issue so they can get it sorted and get it back out onto track. Obviously, not the way you want to be starting a endurance race, but they have said we've got 2 hours. Hopefully, they should be out in no time at all. So hopefully, we'll see this car back out on the track soon.
Thanks, Kieran. So safety car continuing. I don't think it will be too much longer because it's now just the Puttergill car that needs to be recovered. It is almost behind the barriers now at Rich's, so it depends which way that they're going to take the recovery truck. But we're 20 minutes into this race. We've not had a lot of racing in it so far. 18 is the leader, Simon Major in the Cooper. Second, 23, Chris Byron in another Cooper. Third is number 117, Martin Gadsby in the BMW not 116, BMW Compact, should say. Fourth, number 89, Scott Parkin. Fifth, number 111, David Blakey. Sixth, number 19, Wayne Lawson. Seventh is number 6, Ryan Parkin. Eighth is number 10, Rob Fennick. Ninth is number 33, which is the car of Aaron Reeve. And rounding out the top 10 is our Class B leader, number 5, Jonathan Packer. Second in Class B is the 183 car of Edward Cook, and 1, Ethan Simmons, is third in that class. Class C is being led by number 1, Oliver Harris. Number 63, Oliver Harris from 77, Henry Salisbury, and 2020 is in third, Vitortas Piperas. And I've at least one more lap behind the safety car here, so we're on to lap 7 of the race now. Lap time behind the safety car is about a 3-minute 50 at the moment, and certainly conditions improving again. It's brightening up. It's certainly drier than it was. I think the spots of rain, there's still just tiny miserly spots of rain on our commentary box window now, but certainly conditions are better than they were when the race was due to start, Chris.
Most definitely. The rain has definitely stopped, or at least has been reduced to a light patter. And so the windscreen wipers aren't working overtime as they were at the start of the race. Interested to see how Simon Major plays this safety car restart. Of course, had a couple of seconds over Chris Byallen, who is probably no stranger to endurance racing, a champion in V2V competition over in France, has raced all across Europe, but V2V these days better known as the Ultimate Cup series, with a variety of different championships, but most known for its sort of GT and prototype endurance racing, which I'm sure he'll be very accustomed to. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he handles this restart. The third place car of Martin Gadsby, that was also third at Anglesey, should be one to watch as well, because that BMW was looking quite racy in the early stages of this race. And of course, Scott Parkin is always one to watch on a restart.
Absolutely, and the conditions which really favoured the BMW in the early stages possibly slightly going away from it now as the weather improves, and I think it is expected not necessarily to rain again for the remainder of the race, although the forecasts have been a bit dodgy so far today, but it might plausibly dry out really before the end of the race, so see how things evolve in here. Watching the cars just as they head down the... They've still not quite recovered that Puttergill Civic. It's still there, just at the end of the start-finish race, so they won't restart the race this time around. There's going to be at least another lap behind the safety car, I'm afraid to say. But it's probably going to be the case that we're going to have the safety car period ending, then almost immediately we'll go into the pit lane window being open, and that's going to be a question of whether anyone does make a very early stop with whoever's been in the car first, having potentially very little racing. But if you are a single driver team, then you don't necessarily need to split it 50-50.
I'm just looking at, obviously we've had quite a bit of championship drama in terms of Class B, with the top 3 all facing dramas, and as it stands, either not starting, not running, or out of this race. So the car that is leading in Class B, obviously it's first time here this season. The car that's second in Class B, the 183 Audi TT, so far this season has scored a grand total of 1 point. So it is very topsy-turvy in terms of that at the moment. The number one car that sits in third position is fourth in the standings. That is the Puttergill car that has been recovered onto the road, rather than being taken out of this race. So it looks like it's at the very least it will be able to make its way back to pit lane under its own steam.
Although having lost 4 laps,
something like that. What is it? 3 laps down. Yes.
Yeah. So it's now just waiting for a gap in the traffic.
Yeah, it came up like right as the leaders were coming by, so it's having to wait for the whole field basically to go around.
Okay. So looks like it's back on the track at least. Now, hopefully that might mean we go green flag racing again at the end of this lap. Safety car lights are still on at the moment, as you can see, as it's making its way down past the Tyrrell's restaurant towards Agostini. Named after the motorcycle great, of course. Around the left-handed hairpin they go on lap 8 of the race. But you're talking about the number 1 car. That's the championship-winning car from last season. Samuel Dennis was at the wheel then. Joined this season by Ethan Simmons, who's just 19 years of age, from Henley, an electrician. Been racing in motorsport and karts and things since the age of since 2018. Very much got his eye on the British Touring Car Championship, something he'd like to compete in the future.
I like that, ambitious young lad, and we've had so many drivers, not just from this championship, but from all across the 750 Motor Club, end up on the either the Toka support bill or into the British Touring Car Championship itself.
Yeah, I mean, Ashley Sutton, obviously the probably most illustrious of those names, ex-Formula V racer, and of course Josh Cook as well, multiple race winner in the BTCC, and was about 14 years ago, something like that. Now he was a front runner in the Stock Hatch Championship, did Sax Max before that as well. So he cut his teeth in tin top racing with the 750 Motor Club. It's definitely not a place that you can move on from and progress from into the higher echelons of national motorsport.
Absolutely. And there were some really ambitious young lads in the 116 Trophy as well. I remember they've got big ambitions of not just touring cars but GT racing, of course, and that's the great thing about racing in Britain is we just have this modicum of series. We've got something for everybody, whether it's touring cars, whether it's GTs, single-seaters. The opportunities are pretty endless.
Yeah, and I know that things like the 116 Trophy are things that a lot of young drivers and parents are looking at for when the kids move on from junior racing, whether that be the junior saloons or the Fiestas or whatever. They need to move into senior racing once they get to a certain age, and something like the 116 Trophy is a good option. And now going back out into the race, by the looks of it, is that going to be going into? Where's it going? But that is the Tidmarsh and Webster Ginetta, the front-running Class B car that's been in the pit lane for probably about 5 laps after the off.
So there's some duct tape on the front of it. The scrutiny is just checking the structural rigidity of the front bodywork. I can tell you the front, the right-hand side corner of the front splitter though is missing. So I imagine they haven't quite been able to replace that. The Ginetta now gets waved out into pit lane. You'll have to wait for the queue to go past because we've got the field coming down the start and finish straight. Just while we're on that conversation of people getting up racing and going up the ladders from this championship, if you're looking at this and thinking I want to give this a go, it is not as hard as you think it might be, and it is not as expensive as you think it might be. This is the home of affordable motorsport. If you go to 750mc.co.uk, the first thing you will see is the button that says Go Racing. You can get your Motorsport UK Go Racing pack for £115. A membership for the 750 Motor Club is only £95 for 12 months as well. Find something you'll like out there. We've got a great registry of different race cars that are for sale, that have got an awful lot of street cred, that are race ready. You can obviously buy your own car and get that race prepped as well. There's a lot of opportunities for Arrive and Drive and some foundation programs as well. Vitias Piperias is one of those great examples of somebody who came into Club Enduro through the foundation program, where there was a lot of contributions towards the finances of the season. You got your race ready car. It helped you get your ARDS license as well. And here he is now in his 3rd season of competition.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you could even come straight into something like Club Enduro. Class C in particular is very accessible, pretty standard MX-5s and sort of BMW cars racing in that, so doesn't need to be something that is very powerful. The class structure is such that something that is relatively humble can compete as well in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. But you won't look at your teeth in a sprint race Formula First. I get the feeling we're probably going to go green flag racing this time. Yeah, the safety car lights are out, aren't they? And we are 50 seconds away from the pit lane window being open as well. Just looking at it, so it looks like Pottergill is 3 laps off the leader. Tidmarsh is 5 laps off the leader. So those 2 Class B cars obviously have had various dramas of their own, but they've both got back out into the race. We think that the number 7 car as well, that's also been in the pit lane. That's the Daniel Perry car. That is also expected to head out onto the track in a few minutes' time. But safety car lights are out, and that means that very shortly we'll get both the green flag being waved down, the pit window board, a pit window open board being shown beneath us, because we are now 90 minutes in the race, but the pit window will only open once the safety car goes in, because you can't make your pit stop behind the safety car. In goes the safety car then, and up to the line to cross for the 9th time is going to come Simon Major, with Chris Byallen in 2nd, Martin Gadsby 3rd, Scott Parkin in 4th. Are we going to get a move almost into riches for the first lap of the restart? No, I don't think we are quite going to get that. They turn their way through riches for the first time then. Gadsby 3rd in the BMW, Scott Parkin 4th in the Audi, then 5th is the 111, David Blakey's sort of bright pink BMW E92 M3 that he shares with Josh Lawton. He's there in P5 at the moment, but look, it's Scott Parkin who is right with the first 3 now as they turn their way, through the left-hander at Palmer for the first time after the restart. We'll keep an eye on this overall battle and the class battle as well as things go along. So down towards the left-hander at Agostini, they go quite different lines being taken, and there is something to be said for taking the wide line in these conditions. There's often a bit more grip around there, and that must be what Martin Gadsby was looking for there. Like Wayne Lawson still there in 6th place in the Audi. Into Oggies they go. Still treading relatively cautiously. There won't be much heat in the tyres. Of course, the circuit is probably, although it stopped raining now, almost in the worst conditions where it is a bit greasy and slippery rather than full wet. You never quite know what level of grip that you're going to get from one corner to the next. So every corner really is an adventure at this stage.
Just a bit. Every time you go down, there'll be different grip conditions, but Chris Byallen and Simon Major leading this race are doing a pretty good job of judging them at the moment. I'll add Martin Gadsby to the list there as well. Just had the number 17 Mazda MX-5. That's the Morgan Sparrow car serving its 1-minute stop and go penalty. It's just come out of pit lane.
Yeah, that's right. Now here's the 33 car. That's the Aaron Reeve car coming through. He is making a move on the inside there of Fenwick. That is for 8th position overall. The Golf going past the BMW. So good to see Aaron Reeve making up ground, getting into P8 there.
Yeah, so that's going past the M2 at CS BMW, which are absolutely cracking machines. Got their own class at the Nürburgring 24 Hours and in VLN competition. We have had a change for 2nd place with Gadsby moving through and now potentially making a move for the lead. He's got a great run out of Ritchie's. And Simon Major is probably under the biggest pressure he's been under for the race so far. Absolutely level pegging, under braking for the Wilson hairpin. Gadsby trying to go all the way around the outside. An extraordinary manoeuvre in that BMW to take the lead away from Simon Major.
Yeah, absolutely. So a great restart here in the first sort of lap and a bit for the BMW to get into the lead of the race. Now, we were told it was Martin Gadsby, but it could be Ian Jones, of course, that started that, because we know Ian is the quicker driver of the two, but it could nevertheless be Martin Gadsby that is at the wheel of that car. We'll see if we can maybe get Kieran onto the case to just confirm who is who in that particular lineup. But certainly the BMW out front now. Then it's Major in second, Allen in third, Parkin in fourth, bit of a gap back to David Blakey in fifth. But I expect the BMW now, it's got clear in these conditions, might be able to pull out a bit of an advantage, which could be crucial.
Well, the car run by Toodle Pip Racing, and he's saying Toodle Pip to the field right now. That's just the best team name I've ever heard.
Yeah, I suppose if it was a Birmingham-based team, it'd be Terrara Bits Racing or something like that. Anyway, down the Bentley Straight they go, 35 minutes into this race. Pit window is open, but I don't think anyone has taken advantage of that yet for a mandatory stop, looking at our timing screen. There's Aaron Reeve, I think he's made up another place now. Yeah, he's got ahead of Ryan Parkin, so that Golf going well in these conditions as well, the number 33 car. So really good start to the race for Aaron Reeve in number 33. Ryan Parkin in the Audi, which has been fixed since yesterday. Now I think that's to 7th place. And then also having lost ground, yeah, the Wayne Lawson car has lost ground on this lap, a couple of positions, so maybe a bit of a mistake there made by Wayne in the Audi.
Well, the Class B leader on the back of the Fennec M2, in fact, which is a Class A car. Now, in these conditions, you are more likely to see more interclass battling because the slightly less powerful cars don't struggle as much to get the power down in these conditions. I've seen road sport races that were won by Class C cars at Rockingham a couple of years ago. So, although it might, well, actually, won't have been a couple of years ago now, will it? If it was at Rockingham, if you remember that place.
Yes.
That was the greyest day I've ever seen, because it is already quite grey out at Rockingham on the best of days. Yellow flags down at Wilson. I think they have already been rescinded, but it could well have been the Morgan Sparrow Mazda MX-5, I'm being told, that potentially spun down at the hairpin.
Yeah, yes, I think there was some contact there possibly as well with another car, I'm being told.
The mystery deepens.
Yeah, but anyway, keep an eye on what goes on there. Looks like everything is back to green flag at the moment anyway. So here's Jonathan Packer now in the number 5 car, the class leading Golf, up with Wayne Lawson in the number 19 Class A car. So we did think this would happen, that some of the Class B cars would be able to start mixing it with the Class A cars in these conditions, just because they can, with less power, they can perhaps put that down more effectively in these conditions. And it looks like Packer might well make a move. He's got right behind him though Ethan Simmons, hasn't he, in the Honda. So Packer's not got Class B all his own way here, Chris.
I think Ethan Simmons, he's moved up to second in that class since we last checked in with him. So he's got past not only the Cook 183 Audi TT, but also the Fennec BMW as well, as has the class leader on that previous lap. So it's game on there in Class B, but Packer's not quite finished yet. He's got more Class A cars that he fancies trying to beat. Capture Motorsports are a very well-run outfit, and they've run championship-winning cars across multiple classes and overall, of course, as well. And Packer's been with them for quite a while now. You see he's on the back of the Audi RS3, isn't it? The number 9. Yes, the TCR of Wayne Lawson, which has struggled a little bit so far in this race. It's Pippius with a bit of company from the Class B championship leader, the number 83 machine of Will Puttigal that was in the gravel earlier. Now that's not going to be a change of position, but a spin though for Pippius coming out of the Brundle and into Nelson.
It's collected the barriers there as well, hasn't he?
Backed into the barriers. I think there was already a bit of front damage there as well. Pit lane has opened for duties. Maybe they're anticipating the safety car. And so this is the driver change down at number 19, Wayne Lawson, getting the assistance out of the car.
Yeah, and he's going to hand over to James Pickford, the very experienced racer for the second half of the race. So he's a very useful pilot indeed to be getting into that car. But yeah, we need to keep an eye on what's going on with that Vittoris Piperas car that's off between Brundle and Nelson. That could well be create an issue. It's still there. Yeah, it's not moved. I don't think it's going to move of its own accord, the Honda, I'm afraid. So that's going to need some outside intervention more than likely. Yeah, safety car is confirmed now. That's just popped up on the lighting panel outside our commentary box window. Not yet appeared on the TLCL timing screen, but it has done now.
Well, that's great news for Pickford getting aboard the number 19, because that is going to be an incredibly cheap pit stop in the end. As far as I can tell, they're the only car that's in
that's right.
pit lane, apart from the Perry Ginetta, which is yet to emerge back out onto the racetrack.
I was just looking at those two. I thought a moment ago into Riches that we might have seen Aaron Reeve go up to 5th place ahead of the Blakey BMW, but obviously didn't quite get that done. And now, with the safety car lights and being illuminated, the yellow flags waved all around the circuit, not able to get ahead. So Aaron Reeve very close to getting into P5, but not quite able to do it before the safety car. That's going to be this the driver change, James Pickford, now getting into that car. I mean, James raced all kinds of things. I think he did what we now call F1000, but at the time was probably called Formula Honda. I think also appeared in things like the Seat Super. Was it called the Seat Cooper Cup? I think it was.
It wasn't called Formula Jedi. Back then.
No, I think that's even before Formula Jedi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was called Formula Honda first because they ran Honda engines. And I think that was probably the year that he did it in. But yeah, he raced the Seats as well, which supported the British F3 and GT package for a while. A couple of seasons. That was the one they had the TV series, sort of reality TV series made about it as well. But he's been, he's a quick driver. There's the 33 car, Aaron Reeve. That's in 6th position then. Already then into our 3rd safety car period of the race. The safety car has picked up the leader, which is good. So no issue there. It's picked up the 117 Martin Gadsby, Ian Jones BMW.
Just allowed the MX-5 of David Brown just to go through, because that was caught initially between the safety car and the overall leader.
And there's the Pickford car that's going to be able to head to the end of the pit lane now. No particular rush to get there because there's a red light on at the end of the pit lane, and when it's clear he'll be able to get back out. But that, as you say, Chris, will be a cheap pit stop. I don't think it was a reaction either to the car spinning. I don't think there was quite enough time for them to have reacted like that, so I think it might have just been blind luck that brought that car into the pit lane at that point in time.
Potentially, yeah, because I think even by the time we called it, it might have already been bound for pit lane, to be honest. It would have been an astonishingly rapid decision being made if that were the case, but has worked out very nicely for them at the moment. So 42 minutes into the race, our 3rd safety car, unfortunately, so far. It is the Martin Gadsby, Ian Jones Toodle Pip BMW that leads the way, the 117 machine, against the 2 TCR Cupras of Simon Major from the number 18 crew of Major Motorsport, and then the Piranha number 23 of Chris Byallen. In Class B, it is still Jonathan Packer who leads the way. They're really mixing it in with the Class A cars in his VW Golf. And then the number 1 machine of Ethan Simmons from Motion Motorsport in their Type R. Probably one of the better placed cars in the championship now after the demise of the top 3 in the standings in the early stages of this race. With the Fennec Class A BMW between Simmons and the Ed Cook 183 machine, which is the Audi TT. And then in Class C, there's been some changes there, I believe, because it is Henry Salisbury's Honda Civic Type R that has taken over at the front there, ahead of the Oliver Harris BMW number 63. Again with a car splitting the second and third place cars in that class, which is the Peter Mansfield Lotus. So third in that category is the number 37 Scott Ferguson BMW Z4.
You can see the recovery crew working their way up at between Brundle and Nelson to recover the Honda Civic FN2 of Vitor Preparas that I think managed to smite both the front and rear of the car on the barriers, looking at the damage to that car. Didn't quite see how that happened, just having a look to see if I've got any information. It's going to need a lift apparently. There may well have been some contact with another driver, which that's not confirmed, but yeah, it's in an unsafe position, and I think there is also a bit of damage to the barriers as well, which the circuit staff will be checking. So we'll see what's in there. Right now, the Pickford car is being allowed. So it was quite a long hold at the end, but it is of course out before the safety car, so it will be able to join the back of the safety car queue, which is where it would have been anyway.
It sort of matters not really,
Yes.
doesn't it? It's got out ahead of that queue at the very least, so it will rejoin the rear of the train.
That's right.
Should have gained a fair bit in amongst that. It won't look like it at the moment, but when everyone else comes in for their mandatory stop, you would anticipate that will have a net gain over there. So yes, 83 Karoo, the Audi TT looking rather handy at the moment. Sorry, not the 83Q, excuse me. It's the 19 of Pickford. Who we know is a rather rapid driver. So we had the 119, the Peter Mansfield Lotus Elise, just saw going through the picture, which is fourth in Class B. And going into this weekend, where was Peter Mansfield? I cannot find him on the championship standings. So is this his first outing of the season there as well in that Lotus Elise?
Yeah, I think it may well be. Yeah.
And now it may well be a different car, but obviously the Rob Boston Racing used to run the Class A Lotus Elise, which I believe it's the same one, probably with less power though, or maybe a bit more weight.
I think there was a Class B version of it as well, a Class B Lotus Elise as well that team. Anyway, let's head down to Kieran and see who he's got to talk to.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm down here with the driver of car 19. That's obviously, yes, sorry. It's obviously interesting conditions out there. How was it?
Sorry, really sketchy. Lots of standing water in right in the places you don't want them. Really quite sketchy in places. So pleased to be out in one way, but fun while I was doing it. So.
And how does the car feel out there?
My car actually is really good in the wet, I think, and James is going to probably prove that now. He's going to prove how good a car it is in the wet. It is a real good car, so I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
So you're towards the front of the field at the moment. Are you expecting to have a good position towards the end of the race?
Depends how it goes now with the rest of the pit stops, isn't it? You know, the rest of the pit stops are coming up. Everyone else will stop at a more normal time. So we'll have to wait and see, or else you get wheel spin. That look.
Yeah, perfect, absolutely. Well, good luck for the rest of it.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers, thank you very much. Back to you guys.
You can hear the wheel spin of the Ginetta G55 coming out of pit lane. So Dan Perry finally making it back out into the race.
Safety car lights out here, Chris, as well. And this is before the Lawson and Pickford car has had the opportunity to catch the safety car train as well.
Yeah, he's behind the David Brown Mazda, number 49, which I think has sort of hampered his progress a little bit because, of course, he can't overtake that car. So he's going to be, he's coming up to Agostini now, so he's about half a lap down. That's probably going to negate a lot of the pace he would have gained.
A lot of it, not all of it. But I think they'll probably actually it will be a net gain. But we've got green flags now waving beneath our commentary position. The race is back underway, so that's 3 safety car periods now done and dusted, and it's Simon Major who's trying to get the lead back here as they go into Rich's corner, but no, it's the BMW that holds on to it, and then Major a bit slower through the middle section of the corner. Still there in second place there, then it's Chris Boyle in third. Scott Parkin in the Dark Side Developments Audi is fourth. Then it's that battle between David Blakey, 111, and 33, Aaron Reeve. And Reeve, oh, there's some contact there. That's between Ethan Simmons and Rob Fennick. So Class B and Class A cars getting together there. And then it's the Audi TT of the Cooks, the orange car that is next through.
Very nearly dramas there for the reigning champions, and of course the car that's second in Class B, that number 1 car of Ethan Simmons. Robin Fennick down in 8th position in its class. That was all getting a bit close, and it's getting very close here between the number 33 Aaron Reeve VW Golf. That is a Class A car that's already made up quite a bit of ground in this race so far in the very limited green running that we've had, and seems to have gotten the jump so far on David Blackie's BMW M3 in terms of pace. Now, normally it's the rear drive cars that tend to fire out the blocks a little bit more nicely. Anybody who's watched touring car racing will know that the BMWs like to lunge forward in the early stages of races or directly after a safety car. But no, so far it's Aaron Reeve who's looking a little bit racier out there.
Yeah, so down the Bentley straight he goes. He's going to try and position his car on the inside of the BMW, but I think the BMW's got a bit more grunt, hasn't it, in a straight line, and that preserves its 5th position down the Bentley straight. David Blakey in the 111 car that he's sharing with Josh Lawton. Blakey from the Scottish borders, from Duns, and his co-driver Josh Lawton from a bit further south in Hull. Reeve it is that's just behind them in that number 33 car, the driver from Gayton. But we're now working lap 16 of the race, and side by side there, I think that was Ryan Parker being passed by Jonathan Packer for 7th place.
Yes, it was. That was Jonathan Packer, the Class B leader, going right round the outside of Coram in a pretty audacious manoeuvre on the Audi TT there, which I imagine is going to have a little bit more grunt down the straight. Sequential gearbox in that car as well, so not losing as much every time it goes up through the gears. And yes, the Audi does outdrag the Golf down the straight and undoing that rather audacious manoeuvre that Jonathan Packer just put on a very competitive Darkside Developments car. Richard Stanton into pit lane in the GT4 BMW, the former Century Motorsport machine, now being run by the Simon Green outfit, and he'll be handing over to Paul Simerson, the Ferrari Challenge racer.
Yeah, so that's a scheduled stop. And I think we'll see a few of those now because we're getting up to the 1 hour mark, and of course the drivers, well, we've already seen 3 safety car periods, and into the pits has come the 83 car, so this is Will Puttergill to hand over to Chris Nyland, isn't it, as well, and that car also being refueled. You can see there's another team member standing by with a fire extinguisher as is required, just to provide fire cover in the event of something going wrong with the refueling, but it all looks to have gone pretty smoothly.
Yeah, it's a good job by the Motion Motorsport crew there. Chris Nyland, a Ford XR Challenge class winner, but also a class winner here in Club Enduro. And I believe it was actually the last time I watched Club Enduro with you, Ian, in Croft, and we were live streaming that one, was the car that had the rather spectacular blowout on the start and finish straight. It was a very 90s blow up. From a very 90s car.
Yeah.
Because that car also used to compete in Type R Trophy as well.
So we've got the Blakey and Reeve battle going on here. This is still 5th position, and as I say, before the safety car, it looked like Reeve was nailed on to take 5th place, but he's not been able to get past that big pinky purple BMW just yet. Still fighting over 5th position. Unsurprisingly now we are seeing a bit of green, or quite a lot of green on the timing screen as conditions are improving, and we've obviously not had much green flag running, but the green on the timing screen signifies that drivers are improving their personal best lap times. as the BMW leading the race has done there. It's done a 2:21 now, 4:16. Actually, Major in second place was a little bit quicker, 2:21.202 that time through in second place. Chris Byallen still there in third at a 2:22. Scott Parkin, interesting, was only a 2:25.2, so about 3 or 4 seconds slower than the top three, Chris, which is interesting.
Just not what you're used to seeing from Scott Parkin. Being told he had a bit of a moment at Agostini on that previous lap, which might account for some of that pace, but probably not all of it. So yeah, just not what we're used to seeing from Scott Parkin. Of course, yesterday's Road Sports winner, the Tegiwa Road Sports Championship, which is a sort of younger sibling series to this championship, the mini endurance, 45 minutes. Now that is Robin Fennick getting back past the second place car in Class B, Ethan Simmons. And so the M2 making its way back up into what should be 9th position overall. Now, Robin Fennick coming up from, I believe it was Class C, the Ginetta he used to race.
There's Packer then, turning his way through. And he's done well here. He's got the car up to 8th position overall, that Class B car. He's not an awful long way clear of Ethan Simmons there. They've got the Fennick BMW between them. Oh, and off goes Simmons now, as I just talked about him at Hamilton. He's rejoined the circuit, hasn't lost any positions, although he has got the 3rd place in Class B car behind. That's the Cook Audi. There's one car just about to head out of pit lane, having made its drive change, is the number 63 BMW from Class C. That was the Class C leader, wasn't it? Oliver Harris has handed over to Jack Collins now.
Yep, so change there. More cars coming out, including the pre-event championship leader, the Will Pattergill started Civic, now with Chris Nyland at the wheel of the number 83, back out into the racetrack. See, car that was in the gravel for about 3 laps at Ritchie's. Bit of a damage limitation race for them at this point, still running down in about 25th place.
So here coming towards us is the 77 car. That's Henry Salisbury in his Honda Civic. He's yet to make his pit stop, and he is running in
it's the leading Class C.
Yeah, leading Class C car at the moment. That Henry Salisbury, 12th position overall. There's a few more drivers are making the stops, but that again is a car that's punching above its weight potentially in these conditions. There we can see there the Tidmarsh and Webster Ginetta. We got a brief view of that. That was the car that had been in early on.
I think we just heard Jonathan Packer go in and out of pit lane. There is a car stopped though at Murray's. It looks like potentially is that one of the Type R's, or is that a Cupra?
I think it is. It's the Byallen car, Chris Byallen, who's dropping down the timing screens. It's Chris Byallen. His Cupra is off on the grass now. Whether that's a mechanical issue and he's had to pull off, or something else has happened, I don't know. But he's tumbling down the timing screens. Was in 3rd place, of course, and so one of the front runners, one of the favourites for a podium position overall here, is looking like, at least for the moment, out of the race. Marshall just heading out to see if they can assist, but we've got that car stricken on the grass there. That's the number 23 car.
That is very significant, because that is, of course, the 2nd place car in the Class A Championship that's finished 2nd in every race so far this season, and so it doesn't look like it's going to be a 4th consecutive one for them now. Meanwhile, Simon Major continues to close up here on the Gadsby Jones, what we believe was started by Gadsby in the 117 car. Gap was 1.4 at the start of the lap. It isn't that now, and now we're starting to see some more evidence of a slightly mangled Cupra TCR car, number 23 machine of Chris Byallen, as it makes its way back onto the circuit.
And straight into pit lane, I think.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised at all, but it's now going to be a lap down because the leaders are already back at Ritchie's.
Yeah. So
that is hugely significant. Now we're getting a really good look and confirmation it is the Chris Byallen car as we get a good look at it. And yeah, It shouldn't
Yeah.
look like that.
No, obviously there must have been a bit of contact there. So an update from earlier on, by the way. We saw Will Pottergill go off at Rich's earlier on. That was just a lock-up by the driver. And now a driver error there going
Wow.
into Rich's. So it wasn't a mechanical issue. It was just that Will Pottergill misjudged things a little bit heading into Rich's on that particular lap behind the safety car and ended up heading straight on into the gravel trap. So thanks to Kieran for that update from pit lane.
So it's now just 0.6 of a second between the leaders. Simon Major doing the fastest lap of the race last time around, 2:18.7. And just to give you an indication, the pole position time was a 2:02.0 set by Simon Major. So that just tells you about 18 and a bit seconds slower than they were lapping in the dry this morning. So although the circuit doesn't look too terribly wet, it is having a big impact in terms of the outright performance. So, of course, it will be fewer laps being done, less fuel being used as well. And so maybe not taking quite as long to top it up in those stops as well. There are teams that will be calculating that into their strategies, of course. We have had a change for the lead in Class B, by the way. Now, we saw Packer come into the pits, but he's only 15 seconds behind.
Yeah, he must have just been straight in and out of the pits.
Yeah, so it's Edward Cook's Audi TT that leads in Class B at the moment. And yeah, Packer has been into pit lane and Cook has not.
Yeah, and also within that battle in Class B, the number 1 car is now back out on track. So Ethan Simmons came in and I think has handed over to Sam Dennis now. So the 1 car has made its driver change. Yeah, that's definitely made its driver change. Looking at the lap time. But yeah, the situation with the Packer car is a bit mysterious then as to what happened there for car number 5.
I kind of refuse to believe that it's done its full mandatory pit stop and only
I think you're right too.
15 seconds behind a very competitive Class B car. Here is that class leading Audi TT, very nearly getting onto the grass on the exit of the or in the middle of the bomb hole. But yeah, okay, maybe we need to send Kieran down to the garage for the number 5. Meanwhile, the 49's just gone past us, so that will be the Ben Cooper now driven Mazda MX-5, started by David Brown. And I didn't quite get the number of the one that just went past us, but there's Robin Fennick. Into pit lane has come the number 18. So the Simon Major car from second place has come into pit lane to hand over to Alan Blenko. Now, Simon has been running solo throughout this season, so this is going to be a slightly different adventure for him. Ryan Parkin has brought the number 6 Dark Side Developments Audi TT into pit lane to hand over to Dylan Brichter. You can see the kind of outfit that they're running as well, fully prepared with the fans on the front of it as well. They are developing their products to sell to their road customers, of course. Motorsport, as ever, is the best testbed of automotive products. So Dylan Brichter will be taking over that car, the number 6 machine. Of course, Ryan, one of the directors at Darkside Development, brother of Scott, who is the owner of that brand.
Do you remember we're saying that James Pickford couldn't overtake that Mazda MX-5 that it was stuck behind the safety car?
Yes. Has it still not?
It's now got a 60-second stop-and-go penalty for overtaking the safety car. So a 60-second penalty for Wayne Lawson and James Pickford. Also one to Daniel Perry as well, although that's less significant because that car's been in the garage for half of the race. But a stop-and-go penalty to the car that we thought had gained by timing, maybe by look rather than judgment, the pit stop perfectly, is now going to throw that away with this 1 minute stop and go penalty that it's going to have to serve.
Well, dearie me. So that is the TCR Audi RS3 with a big hefty penalty. The Peter Mansfield 119 Lotus Elise has that's a spin for Jonathan Packer.
Well,
with a top contender in Class B, the number 5 Volkswagen Golf going for a spin going through Brundle.
Going to get going again. Hasn't made contact with anything, I don't think, so it's not going to be too expensive. But the plot thickens with that car, really, doesn't it? Because we think it's made that stop, which was not for its mandatory change, and that's obviously putting out a load of dirt and rubble from underneath it as it's getting back up to speed.
You hate to see it. Such a good-looking car as well, and of course there's going to be very little grip on that grass, and it's going to be so muddy after all that rain that we've had. So yeah, the question I was going to ask was about the Peter Mansfield car. Did we ever work out if Sam Heading is actually in that car this weekend?
is he showing on the timing screen?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is.
Place,
and
so
he's in the programme, so yeah, I think it was just an error possibly on the timing sheet this morning.
Okay, fair enough.
More than anything else.
That was the number 18 Alan Blenko car getting back out into the race. That felt longer than 3 minutes, didn't it? So
I think it should have been in that case. Yeah, it needed to be. No, they didn't have a penalty to serve.
yeah, I mean, obviously they did have to do a little bit of rework on the front body work as well, because it came in with a slightly crooked tooth. Back out into the race comes the number 6 Audi TT. Oh, and Dylan Brichter very nearly losing it as soon as he got onto the racetrack. Now, there is a drier line starting to form around there, and maybe just with a bit of water on the tyres, having obviously come from the pit lane exit, which is going to be a wetter part of the track than the racing line, and potentially just getting a little bit caught out there, but gathered that snap up very nicely.
Best lap of the race has just been done by the car that's got the 1 minute stop and go penalty. James Pickford's done a 2 minute 15.026, which is about a second faster than anybody else has gone so far. Let's go down to Kieran Mock. He's got more from the pits.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm down here with Ryan Parkin, and you've just obviously jumped out the car. How was that stint for you?
I didn't do my best driving, but I enjoyed it. Trying to find the grip was pretty difficult, but I think I was the slowest of the fast cars out there, which it's a shame for me, but we've put Dylan in there, let him have a big stint. He's been let down a few times by the car, so while it's working, I think get me out, get him in, and let him have a turn. But yeah, enjoyed it, yeah.
Obviously, if the weather potentially stays off and the track continues drying, do you think you maybe have a bit more of a chance come later in the race?
Definitely. We made the choice to stay on the dry setup, which our cars need a really aggressive wet setup because we've got 295 front tyres, so we've got no grip when it's wet, and the rear's quite stiff. So if we put a wet setup on there, it would have been a lot quicker then. But if it dries, it just took a little bit longer to dry than I expected in the safety car stint, so it is what it is. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And how's Scott getting on as well?
To be fair, I'm not 100% sure. I've not looked at the timings, but he's doing better than me. I could see he were ahead, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, leave you to it, but yeah, thanks for that, and good luck for the rest of the race.
Cheers for that.
Cheers, thank you. And if we just swing around a second as well, we see the 23 that was still in the garage. Unfortunately, they are completely out of the race. So basically what happened was, went into the corner, the back started to slip away, corrected it, and then it just shot him off into the barrier, and they punctured the radiator. They've said that because of how long it would take to change the radiator, there's no point in trying to do it because they wouldn't get much running anyway. So unfortunately, the 23 is officially out of the race. It's a shame for them, obviously, but that's just motorsport sometimes. But yeah, back to you guys.
Thanks, Kieran. So great shame. So that's the 23 car out of the race. Chris Byallen and Simon Mason didn't get a turn in that car in the end. There's the 6 car, the Dylan Brichter car. Ryan Parkin, we just heard from, drove that in the first part of the race. Was perhaps a little bit disappointed in his own driving there, but that car is in 12th position now, and of the stoppers, it is, I think, second of the stoppers, about 38 seconds behind the now Alan Blenko driven Cupra. So second of the stoppers, but there are still some quick drivers that have yet to make their mandatory driver changes or pit stops in the event of a single driver entry. The Pickford car has just been in to serve its 1 minute stop and go penalty for overtaking under the safety car, so James Pickford is back out into the race as well. That's car number 19, so he's back out into it, and he is shown 18th on the timing screen, but now much further down the list of drivers that have made only one proper stop. He's shown having made 2 stops now, but one of those was to serve the penalty. Now, Jonathan Packers has an eventful race. He is shown as leading the pit stoppers, but we don't think his pit stop was his full mandatory 3-minute pit stop, so we kind of need to ignore that. And I think it's actually the Blenko car, number 18, that is effectively leading the race here. But Gadsby, if it is Gadsby driving that BMW, is just in the best lap of the race now, a 2:13.844. I think the times are going to continue to tumble here as conditions are improving. There is now the sunshine's trying to break through again, Chris.
Yeah, the weather really can't make up its mind, can it? There was still a little bit of water in the air. Just poked my head out the box just there. And there is still a little bit of water in the air. But still very muggy out there. But definitely improving. And the lap times are showing that as well. Because Gadsby's now lapping 2:13 last time around.
Yeah.
And the closest driver to him was the Lawton car. The 111, yeah, Josh Lawton M3, which was still about 2.5 seconds slower. So, yeah, the pace is really starting to come down out there. There's that number 19 Audi RS3 TCR car. It's just served its 1-minute stop-and-go penalty for passing under the safety car. What could have been for this car, really, as there is the race leader putting a lap on that number 55 BMW M4 GT4 car of Paul Simerson. Should be at the wheel of that car now. Yet to see our race leader into pit lane just yet, with Martin Gadsby now lapping in 2:12 and a second quicker than Scott Parkin in second. 30 seconds his advantage now with the Toodle Pip car.
Yeah, so 117 ahead. 89 is second, that's Scott Parkin. Third is the 33 car of Aaron Reeve. None of those have made their stops so far. Neither's 111 David Blakey in the BMW. But looking further down the time screen, the other classes, I think, other than Packer, I think everyone has. Oh, and yeah, the Cook, of course, the Cook brothers. They've yet to make their stop as yet. So in the Audi TT. So Class C, how's that looking? Yeah, again, Henry Salisbury's yet to hand over to Sister Olivia, and Matthew Sibonite's still out there in the Mazda. So just 1 or 2 teams still need to make their stop. They've still got plenty of time to do it, because you don't need to do it until sort of 15 minutes before the end of the race, although it's a risky strategy leaving it too late, because if there's a late safety car, then you might not be able to get your pit stop done, because you can't stop while the safety car is out there, and if you don't make your stop, then you'll be penalised. So probably worth doing it sooner rather than later, I think, for all of those teams that have yet to do it so far.
And can your car run for an hour and 45 minutes on a tank of fuel?
Some
can.
Some will be able to, yeah.
Well, of course, you've got to factor that into the equation.
We've had quite a lot of safety car running as well, which helps.
That's true. Yep, that does help a fair bit. Of course, using less fuel, and it's been wet. So pile all that together, they'll be getting some great MPG out of these cars. It might go as high as 6 for this weekend.
Right, here is Jonathan Packer, and this is his real stop now, I think.
So I wonder what that initial stop was for. It almost seemed like a drive-through penalty, but I didn't see anything come through.
There's nothing been notified. Him. So whether it's a miscommunication, maybe he came in, the team weren't ready for him, but if that's the case, you'd have thought he'd come in the following lap.
Yeah, you would still just park anyway and do your stop and just take the few seconds lost rather than driving back through the pit lane again. But that is Packer. They was leading Class B earlier on, but that's whatever the reason that brought him into pit lane for the first time has definitely cost him the lead in that class. So it is the Cooks who lead there as it stands, and probably should hold the lead after the driver change as well, after they do their mandatory stop. But meanwhile, the race leader has come into pit lane. Martin Gadsby ready to hand over to Ian Jones. We believe that's how we were told it was at the start of the race. The 117 car into pit lane, along with the 111 of Josh Lawton taking over the David Blakey car.
It would be good if Kim could just go down and check who is getting into and out of that BMW, just to confirm who it is that's going to be aboard the BMW for the second part of the race. So yeah, pit stop is going on down there.
Don't you wish drivers had just big initials on their helmets all the time, like it was mandatory?
Yeah, it's not always easy to recognise them, especially from certain angles. So 47 minutes of the race left to go. Scott Parkinson out there. Of course, he's a solo driver, so he's not going to think about equalising the driving. And the same goes for Aaron Reeve, who's also still out there. Only 11 seconds behind him as well, so he's getting pretty well in the 2:13s. But the best lap of the race now on the last lap, a 2-minute 10.268 seconds for James Pickford. And you just think if he'd not had to make that extra 1 minute stop and go penalty, he'd have been right in contention for this race, I reckon.
Certainly would have been. He's currently 2 laps down from the overall leader, but of course has done the mandatory change. And yeah, you would think it would be in a really, really good position. If you take the time lost it's had.
I was trying to do it a minute ago to figure out where it would have. I kind of gave up. It's difficult, isn't it, when you've got cars on different number of laps?
I kind of don't believe what I'm seeing on the timing screen as well, actually, even though I know I should. It's TSL timing. They do a very good job.
Yeah.
46 minutes left in this race. We're yet to see the top 5 come into pit lane, in addition to the 169 Matthew Simonite Mazda MX-5. So 6 cars yet to do their mandatory pit stop, and if possible, driver change. We are well into the second half of this race now. This is the car we were just talking about. Where would this car have been were it not for that 1 minute stop and go penalty? Because we believe it was holding a big advantage. Back out into the race, though, is coming the erstwhile leader, the 117 Toodle Pip BMW, which is the compact. And let's see where they come out in relation to the likes of Ryan Parkin, for example, because the nearest rivals, well, one of them was the Audi, that's been taken out of contention. The other one's yet to really stop. And of course, the 23 car as well, that had its own dramas as well, with Chris Byallen getting some front damage to that car. So it's the other Cupra we really need to keep an eye on, the Simon Major, the Alan Blanco car. Where's Alan Blanco come out in all of this? It's well, according to our timing screen, ahead of the Major of the BMW. So that is a net change for the lead, isn't it? In favour. Yeah, well, we can see it on the track now as well. So that is the Major Motorsport TCR car getting into the lead of the race. Again, the car that started on pole.
And that was exactly because of the 10-second penalty, additional time they had to serve in the pits, the BMW success penalty. And you can see the gap is less than 10 seconds. So
yeah, so that is because of its 3rd place finish last time out, correct?
Yeah.
Because at Anglesey and the other car, the Simon Major car, didn't have any from Anglesey. It was winner at Silverstone. But Kieran's got more news for us down in pit lane.
Thank you very much. Yes, we've just seen the 117 and the number 5 cars both come in. Basically, number 5 came in initially when the TCR got stuck at the last corner, so they had to do a drive-through because they obviously couldn't stop during the safety car. The 117 just got in, Gadsby out, Jones in. So I know Ian was asking. So yeah, Gadsby out and Jones is in the car. But yeah, the 5 had to do an additional stop in because the TCR got stuck at the end of the straight. So they've come in for the actual stop. The initial one wasn't a stop. They had to just drive through the pit lane. So there we go. So back to you guys.
Thanks very much for that, Kieran. That certainly explains a lot to do with the Jonathan Packer car. So that's just really unfortunate timing there for Jonathan Packer. You don't look convinced.
I'm not convinced by this. The timing didn't feel right, and even, we never had a safety car for that. Anyway, for that instance, so I'm a bit confused.
Maybe
it's another.
They thought there might be a safety car,
but even so, if you think that you might be a safety car, you're okay. It's only you can't stop once the safety car boards have gone out. Anyway. What has happened has happened.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got a real close battle for the lead here. Now, what will become the lead, I think, it's not for the lead because these have both stopped and other drivers haven't. But you've got Alan Blenko, number 18, and now you have got the quick driver in the BMW, the quicker driver in the BMW, Ian Jones. He's closed that gap quite considerably. He was a little bit quicker on the previous lap, but it was a second at the start of this lap. It's less than a second now as they head down to Oggies on lap 27 in their case in this 120-minute race. 41 minutes left to go. It looks like we might get a change for position here, and this could be prove decisive for the lead of the race. They're heading down the Bentley Straight.
So we must give credit to Martin Gadsby then for that brilliant first stint, where it did include that rather audacious manoeuvre around the outside of the Wilson hairpin, and Ian Jones might try and make an audacious move of his own around the outside of Brundle, and yes, brilliantly retakes the lead of the race from the Seat Cupra car of Alan Blenko.
Yeah, so that's the BMW ahead. It's not for the lead yet, but I suspect it will be because he's now the first of the cars that have made their pit stops. The one that we're going to have to watch still, potentially, is the Pickford car, because that is doing fastest lap after fast lap at 2 minutes 6.759. Everyone else, apart from Scott Parkin, actually, is in the 2 minute 10 still.
Yeah, so where are they at in relation to the... What is it? It's about a minute behind, do you reckon, in total? So
I'm going, for roughly a minute, so that's about half a lap, really.
Yeah, which tracks, because it was half a lap... Well, it was half a lap behind on the safety car restart before it got that penalty.
And if they hadn't had to serve that minute stop-and-go penalty, I think that Pickford car would be in the lead.
100%, but what it has done, it's given us a real interesting dynamic here, because they're so much faster than everyone else. Down in the 206s, there's no one else around them that's anywhere close. The Gadsby car, okay, 207 last time around, but I would not count out the Pickford Audi for a podium overall,
agreed.
Potentially here.
I mean, that's 4 seconds off a dry lap at the moment.
Yeah.
The other cars are 8 seconds off a dry lap. There must be something in the setup as well. Of either way, the Pickford Audi being set up particularly well, or other cars not being set up for the drying conditions.
I wonder if what sort of gamble on tyres can they make with these cars? So I don't think it's slicks. It's not full slicks.
It's not slicks. No.
It's dry tyres.
But there are dry tyres and there are dry tyres, aren't there? There'll be some tyres that'll be more suited to the wet conditions, clearly. The other thing to think about is what lap time's Ian Jones, because Ian Jones on that lap is done 2 minutes 7, so to Scott Parkin in the lead of the race, so he's now a bit closer to the times of Pickford as well. So that's going to make it more challenging, whereas Blenko only did 2 minute 9, the former British Touring Car Championship driver, in the 2 minute 9s that time. Now Pickford has done another 2:6.605, so yeah, we're getting faster all the time. It's proving an interesting contest. Here's Aaron Reeve. He's still in second place, but he's one of only 3 drivers now that have yet to make their stops. The other one being Scott Parkin and Edward Cook in the orange Audi TT.
Yeah, and that's the class leader. We've got the number 10 back into pit lane though, so that is the Andrew Shepherd BMW M2. That's already made its stop, but is coming back into pit lane, presumably with some sort of element. No, has it already done its stop? Am I thinking of the 55? No, it hasn't.
No, I think this is its stop, isn't it?
So, sorry, excuse me. That's Fennick handing over the car to Andrew Shepherd now. Which explains why it was up in like 4th position at that point. So, they're just going to pit lane to do their stop. Top 3 yet to do so.
The Cooks are into the pit lane right now.
Yeah, made that top 2 because the Class B leader, Edward Cook, has brought the Audi TT in to hand over to Stephen Cook.
And just looking at those, it'd be interesting to see where the Cooks feed back in here, because the second place car in Class B, which has made its stop, is Samuel Dennis in the Honda Civic Type R, the car that won the championship last year. That's done just on 2:15.183. The Cooks have just done 2:15.465, so they're lapping in very similar lap times, those cars. So it'll be interesting to see where they come out in relation to one another once that stop is completed. And Scott Parkin is now into pit lane as well.
Remember that Motion Motorsport Cook cars, and he scored 1 point all season long. So I think no matter what happens with them in Class B at this point, they've had an extraordinary outing so far. Here is that 183 car having the refuel, and yeah, we've got Scott Parkin coming into pit lane.
Yeah, so that's just leaving Aaron Reeve out on his own in the Golf that's now leading the race. We've got a yellow flag at Riches. Oh, and he's not leading the race! Aaron Reeve is off the road. Now, I wonder why that is. I mean, there's a non-negligible possibility that there's a fuel issue there, because he's got an hour and 24 minutes into this, and it could just have potted to a halt with a lack of fuel. But that car has stopped on the exit of Riches Corner, just out of view of our commentary box. So the car that had on the timing screen taken the lead of the race is certainly going to be dropping back down the order at the very least.
What if we get a safety car now? This is great news for Scott Parkin,
yeah,
of course, and for the Cooks as well in their pursuit of the Class B battle. Double waved yellows now down at Ritchie's as they look to recover that car. And safety car has been deployed, Ian. That is huge news. So Scott Parkin surely is going to have a huge advantage because of this, as will the Ethan and Stephen Cook Audi TT that should, in theory, now come out in the lead in Class B. And so all of a sudden, the Aaron Reeve car might have just done Scott Parkin a massive favour. I mean, hugely disappointed for Aaron Reeve. He was having a mega race in that Golf, and I would be so curious to find out if that was just him running out of fuel or whether something's gone wrong on the car, because I don't think he's made a mistake, because he's pretty simply pulled over.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, doesn't it? The position of it is well round the corner. Safety car waiting at the end of the pit lane to try and pick up the leader.
And this is great news for the Pickford car as well, because all that gap it'll be right on the back of the queue now, because it was 6.7 behind the Lawton 111 BMW, and then there was the Brickter car. So it's gained about a minute back to the podium cars.
But what's going to happen here is that Scott Parkin is going to have to sit at the pit lane, I think, and wait for the whole safety car train to pass before it's allowed out.
Yeah, so what we've got a situation here where the safety car needs to pick up the leader. Well, the leader's parked at the side of the road. The second place car is in pit lane. So who does he pick up? It should surely
pick up
Ian Jones,
Ian Jones in the BMW, you would think, who is... That's not him, that's the Johnny Hayes BMW.
No relation to Sonny.
So we've got the safety car has gone out, probably we'll do a wave through of a few of the cars.
I think it has to, yeah, because it's got a lot of cars that are not the race leader, and of course you can end up losing quite significantly when that happens, especially if you've got the class leader.
But yeah, Ian Jones has come through, as has Alan Blanco.
Yeah, so just needs to let a couple of cars go back through. So we've got a queue forming at the end of pit lane here, which is the 183 Audi TT of Stephen Cook, and now Scott Parkin in the Darkside Developments Audi TT, just second in that queue.
It's just a question of how long he's going to have to sit there now.
Because if he loses a lap, then that's really going to.
He's not going to lose a lap. It's going to be right at the end of the queue, I think. Don't think he'll lose a lap anyway. I would think they'll put the green lights at the end of the pit lane.
Well, and we think he's gained.
No, I think he's lost here.
Well, yeah. So the initial thought is always that you're going to gain stopping under safety car, but we saw that the race was restarted last time while the Audi was about half a lap behind. So
we know whatever happens now, he's going to be well behind those cars that we can see on screen now at the Agostini hairpin, because he's.
But was he not a lap ahead of them though? So we can afford to lose.
No. He's yet to complete his 30th lap. They've already completed their 30th laps. He's only completed 29 laps so far. And he'll complete his 30th as he crosses the line, I think.
What next time around? Because obviously the pit lane exit is beyond the timing line. We'll find out, won't we?
I don't think it has worked out. Right, we've got the recovery vehicle now on its way along the start and finish straight to try and deal with the Aaron Reeve car that had stopped out on circuit on the exit of Rich's Corner. We've got 32 minutes of this race left to go. Pit window is academic now because the only car that had yet to make its stop is the one that's being recovered, so it's got 17 minutes left to go for the record. Safety car has now started to do the wave through. So one of the cars it has waved through is what I think is going to prove to be Class B leader, and it is already in fact the Class B leader, which is Sam Dennis now in the number 1 Honda Civic.
Yes, because it was the car that was leading in Class B is still sitting there at the end of pit lane, isn't it?
Yeah. So in a similar situation, I think, to Scott Parkin, really.
Yeah, it could well be. Very curious to see when the timing screen updates itself next time around. The recovery vehicle is on site with Aaron Reeve, looking to get that car cleared from the runoff area at Ritchie's.
The car that we thought might run out of fuel has a puncture, apparently.
Oh, what a shame. So, well, that would explain why it's ended up there as well, because you can very easily skate off the road if you have a front left puncture, especially going into a right-hander, and a jolly fast right-hander at that as well. So, coming up to 30 minutes remaining. These races really do fly by, don't they?
They do, even when you've got so much behind the safety car as well. This is number 4, I think, that we've had
fantastic
in this race.
These really are great races. I think the Club Enduro has got to be the best value for money racing in the UK.
No, it's really good from both the competitor's point of view and the spectators. Right. So here we go. Now 31 laps completed for the race leaders.
Yeah.
Martin Gasby and Ian Jones, and still sitting there in the pit lane is Scott Parkin, who is now tumbling down the timer screen.
And now they've been allowed to go, but they've lost a lap here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's now shown as having completed 30 laps. Now he's exited the pit lane.
Wow.
So I think when you're in the pit lane, it doesn't trip until you actually leave the pit lane. So he's lost a lap. It could have been so close to going the other way, though, couldn't it? And
Absolutely.
If he had been allowed out just in the nick of time, then. But with it being such a long mandatory stop, 3 minutes, then it's quite a lot of time that can pass to allow the safety car to get out and then the queue to form up and so forth. That's why.
Well, you lose a lap.
Yeah.
Anyway, even under green.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's clearly not worked out for Scott Parkin today, but that is the look of the draw. Now, again, we've got a situation where I think it's the same Mazda MX-5, which is not catching up with the rest of the safety car train that didn't before. That's the is it the number 49
Yeah,
car?
so that's the now Ben Cooper-driven car, it should be.
Yes. So that needs to really catch up with the rest of the safety car train. That's what drivers should be doing. They should be trying to keep within a reasonable distance of the car in front. No, you need to. You're told to slow down behind the safety car, obviously, but you do need to make sure you're in touch with the car in front and catching the train. But as you can see, there is quite a big gap after the first few cars.
So, now that we've got all the stops completed and we're under safety car conditions, there is yet a third train of cars that's just gone past us as well, actually.
Yeah.
But now we've got we've got a semblance of an order here now, which is that Ian Jones leads in the two-clip BMW Compact. Directly behind him as well is his nearest rival, Alan Blenko, in the car that started on pole position at the hands of Simon Major, the Major Motorsport Cupra TCR car. Third overall is Dylan Brichter now in the number 6 Darkside Developments Audi TT. Quite a few cars between the TCR and the Audi. And then there's a 56-second gap at the moment to the Lawton 111 BMW M3.
Which is stuck behind that MX-5.
Yes, so that MX-5 really needs to get a wiggle on, doesn't it? Because that could be the difference between the 19 ending up making it onto the podium, the Audi TCR car, the RS3, because that is caught in that train of cars at the moment.
Yeah, you see, we should have another car right behind Scott Parkin, who's at the rear of that group at the moment, and we don't have one. and that's the problem we have. Now, at this stage, I think still the Aaron Reeve car is being recovered, so there is more time for the pack to catch up, but it's not doing it at a particularly rapid rate.
No, it's a bit moot at the moment. They're coming around Nelson now, while these guys are coming around the last corner at Murray. So again, the gap is closing a little bit, but I don't know, can they tell the safety car to slow down a little bit?
Well, I think it probably already is driving relatively slowly.
Yeah, 3:30 last time round for the leaders. I'll just run through the rest of the other classes real quick. So it's the reigning champions now who lead in Class B, which is the Ethan Simmons and now Sam Dennis-driven Motion Motorsport Honda Civic Type R. And, of course, the top three in the championship not having a brilliant day. So could be a good haul of points for them in the championship. Second in Class B is the Lotus Elise, the Peter Mansfield Sam Heading car. It's heading now at the wheel of it. And in third in Class B is still Jonathan Packer, actually. But again, he's caught up in another sort of train of cars, isn't he? But should close down, would still come away with the Class B podium despite the extra drive through the pits and the spin for that car.
Yeah.
And then in Class C is the 63 Jack Collins driven BMW M3 that was started by Ollie Harris. That's a German Autoworks car, because he used to run Joel Oswick in Class C and then eventually into Class A competition as well. Second in Class C is the Hallisbury car, so the 77. Olivia now at the wheel of that one. That's another of the Motion Motorsport Civics. And then third in that category is the number 37 Neil Luke driven BMW Z4 from Luke and Luke Racing.
The good news is that we seem to now have sort of a larger pack of cars together behind the safety car. So safety car is driving sufficiently slowly to allow the next group to catch up. So I think we have...
I think they're all together.
Yeah, I think they're all back together, aren't they? And with the Aaron Reeve car now having been recovered, will we be able to go racing this time potentially? If the recovery trick is out, well, yeah, lights are off. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to go this time. 24 minutes of the race remaining. We might get another 11, 12 laps out of this. Just depends whether we get another safety car or not, really, doesn't it? Between now and the end of the race. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting contest here. You've obviously got the top two. Ian Jones, who's rapid in that BMW. You've got Alan Blanca, ex-BTCC driver in the Cupra. Then a few cars back, you've got Dylan Brichter, who's just got a few back markers to try and pass. He could get into the equation as well. And then you've got, now pretty much with them as well, not too far behind, the Josh Lawton number 111 car as well, which is a rapid machine. It's had a couple of strong results during the course of the season. Right, safety car's going to peel into pit lane. Control now in the hands of Ian Jones, and he's gone. He's accelerating his way up to the line to restart the race with 23.5 minutes to go. Green flag waves.
So frustrating for Dylan Brichter because he can't pass the lap traffic until he gets to the timing line, which he has now done so. But it is Ian Jones who leads going into Ritchie's for the first time.
Yeah, and Scott Parkin also was similarly delayed, but he's now started to get through past some slower cars. So round Wilson, there you go. Track would have dried out a bit more during that safety car period as well, so the grip levels will have changed again from what they were beforehand. So it is through the left-hander goes the Gadsby and Jones car. And Jones now driving that car in the lead of the race. You can see in the background there Scott Parkin trying to make up some positions. It might get on terms with the sister car, mightn't it, of Dylan Brichter before the end of the race.
That slow Mazda that was holding everyone up during the safety car has just come out of pit lane. So it must have just come in on that safety car restart with, I guess, some sort of problem. Might explain why it was struggling to keep up even under safety car speeds. because there was still a bit of a gap, wasn't there?
Yeah, now Ian Jones here is there's a little bit of a gap back to Alan Blake. Not pulled away hugely, but starting to get away a little bit. And now Dylan Brichter is up to third on the road, so he's got past the slower cars. And Scott Parkin, I think, is about to go fourth on the road as well. So we're going to have the top four. Oh no, Scott Parkin, of course, is a lap down, isn't he? So ignore him. But he's going to be on the lead lap, and he'll probably get stuck in here. But it's the James Pickford car that's not too far behind and is on the lead lap. So that's certainly we want to watch, isn't it? Given the lap times it was doing before the safety car.
Yeah, so that Pickford car in 6th position, only 12 seconds off of the race leader because of the traffic that was between him and the race leader.
Yeah.
But remember, he was lapping so much faster than everyone else, not necessarily quicker than Ian Jones. The pace was quite similar all in all, but significantly quicker than the cars in front of it. It could still come away with a podium, could the RS3.
Right, Jones on the first flying lap after the restart has done 2:04.304, which is the best lap of the race. Pickford goes over the line. Does he manage to improve his lap time?
2:05. Well, he's up to 4th already, is Pickford. He's made up 2 places on this lap, and just gone around the 111 car of Lawton, the BMW there, into Ritchie. So this is a great first lap on the safety car restart for Pickford, and moving up into 4th position. What is the gap? It's 7.7 seconds to the Dylan Brichter Audi in 3rd position.
Yeah, and I mean, he had more traffic to deal with on that lap, so he's going to get a clear lap or clearer lap here. So we'll see if he can eat into the advantage. He's going to pass the Jonathan Packer car, isn't he, before much longer. That's the car that is running 3rd in Class B at the moment, as they make their way out of Palmer and down to Agostini for the, what are we on, 35th lap of this race now. It is the, there goes the Pickford car. It's past now the Packer car, which on a different lap and in a different class, but it's another opportunity there for Pickford to try and gain on the Dylan Brichter car, which is the next target on the same lap.
Yep, so big job here for Pickford to try and haul himself back up into the podium places. But you can see the car already just tipped into the Brundle and Nelson complex, and has now done so itself as well. I think it's going to have Scott Parkin between himself and it. I wonder if Parkin might actually play a little bit of a role here in defending his brother's car. Of course, it's not his brother driving it at the moment, it's his teammate, but still, it's his brother scoring the result there as well. Great stuff again. We've still got some great drama to come with 20 minutes to go in this Club Enduro race. As it stands, 117, if it were to stay like this, bagging its first victory of the season after its first podium, after what was not a lucrative start to the season for them either. Really, I've got points for finishing, that was it, and then suddenly it all started to come good in Anglesey last time out. The number 18 on course for a second podium. Again, if it were to stay like this, I'm sure Darkside Developments will be pushing on Ryan and Dylan Brichter for their best finish as well. They've not been on the podium yet this season, and I don't remember the last time actually that pairing, or the Ryan parking car anyway, was on the podium.
Be good if we could have a look at the battle for the Class B, because there's only half a second here between Sam Dennis and Sam Heading now. The car's 1 and 119 as they're battling for the lead of Class B, so that could be quite interesting before the end of the race. And in Class...
Shout. Here it is.
Yeah, absolutely. There is the blue Lotus chasing after the Honda, so that's... And they're just going past the MX-5 as well. It's actually closing up in Class C as well. We'll come to that in a minute. But Sam Dennis has Sam Heading right behind him. They're heading their way through Palmer. And they are also still on the leading lap, lap 36 of the race. So are we going to get a change here? On the previous lap, it was actually Dennis that was just slightly quicker, able to extend the lead from 0.2 of a second to 0.5 of a second. So very interesting to see whether the Honda is able to keep the Lotus at bay. These are cars, very different cars. They're going to have strengths at different parts of the circuit. Turning their way through the right-hander at Oggies on towards Williams they'll go back onto the Bentley Straight. But we've got a real fight for the lead in Class B. As I say, we'll keep an eye on Class C, where Paul Subiani is only 5 seconds behind the... it's the Jack Collins car, isn't it?
Yes.
Number 63, and they were closing. That gap was closing as well, so we'll keep an eye on that. Leaders have gone through. And what's happened to Ian Jones? Ian Jones has not come through that time. The race leader in the BMW has not come through.
I'm pretty sure I did see it go around there. Might just be a Dicky transponder.
Okay.
I'll keep an eye out on the window. They're about to come through. Palmer's are the leaders. I'll just keep an eye out for
keep an eye on that.
BMW.
I'll keep watching the Sam Dennis and Sam Heading battle here. And they are making their way around the circuit.
No, it's gone, Ian. I can't believe it. Something's happened to that car, and it's the Dark Side Developments Audi TT. I believe that's going to be Scott Parkin, who is right behind the leading TCR car. But wow, this race has just been blown wide open.
And the Class B second place car's got a 1 minute stop and go penalty as well, I'm hearing, and not quite sure what that is for. But Sam Headings in the second place car in Class B, that's got a 1 minute stop and go penalty, as too does Andrew Etheridge in the BMW M3, who's a bit further back down the order, actually in sixth place, so still well up the order. So it's all going on. There's the BMW.
Oh!
It looks like it's in the spectator area almost there. It's parked up. Ian Jones out of the race from the lead, and that has handed the lead over to Blenko, hasn't it? With
Yes.
Brichter right behind him. Here's the lead of Class B, but that's going to be changed when the Lotus has to head in for a pit stop.
The number 80 has also picked up that same stop-go penalty. It's the sixth place car of Chris Hetheridge in the BMW. But yeah, so that's the car that actually now leads in Class B, Ian, because he's got past the Dennis Honda into the lead in Class B, and so that Lotus Elise has just taken the lead there with the 1 minute penalty, 1 minute stop and go. Wow, this is extraordinary stuff.
The overall race is now heading into Rich's corner. There's only 0.4 of a second between them, and James Pickford is still catching them. He's about 5 seconds behind. There's only 15 minutes to go in this race, though.
Yeah, so the car that I thought was Scott Parkin is actually the Dylan Brichter car in second place. So this is the lead battle between the Piranha, the major run Seat TCR Cooper of Alan Blenko against the Dark Side Developments Audi TT of Dylan Brichter. But let's not forget, James Pickford in that Audi RS3 is catching. He's right there coming out of Palmer. That is the gap. 6 seconds is the gap. And he's lapping about a second quicker than the race lead as it stands. And if these two start squabbling as well, that's only going to bring him in even closer. This could be a grandstand finish here to the fourth meeting of the season for Tegiwa Club Enduro.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was smoke. Smoke from the second place car of Dylan Brichter. Problems there. Surely it's going to meet the barriers. That didn't look like a lockup. That looked like some sort of mechanical failure. Is this a repeat of the issues we saw of this car on the formation lap in the road sports yesterday? Because that looked like another failure.
It's a failure of some kind, that's for certain. It didn't find the barriers, and pleased to say,
I cannot believe
Dylan Brichter climbing out of the car. And so that's one potential challenger to Alan Blenko. Literally gone up in smoke, but look in the background at the orange and black Audi TT that is herring after him down the Bentley Straight. Are we going to get another safety car as well? We'll probably bring an end to the race. And at this point now, Pickford doesn't want a safety car, does he? Because he needs to have the racing laps to try and catch Alan Blenko for the victory here. The Motion Motorsport car chasing after the race leader now.
Contenders are dropping like flies suddenly in the closing stages of this race. So we've got the Class B leader that will soon be in to serve that stop-and-go penalty. We've had the leader parked to the side of the road. The second-place car going up in smoke as well.
The gap from first to second, about to come through, is James Pickford, is now 4.5. It's come down by a second and 1.4 seconds on that lap. The other thing I was about to say was the Class C lead battle is getting close as well, because Paul Subiani is now within a second and a half of Jack Collins for the Class C lead as well.
And car parked up at the side of the road. Is that the Jonathan Packer car from third position
looks a bit
in
like
Class B? Yes, so that is also right. God, they really are dropping like stones here. I will say the thorn in the side of Pickford here is the Scott Parkin car that is currently right in between himself and the race leader, because Scott's not going to give that up in a hurry. No, even if he is a lap down.
He's not. He's absolutely not. So the Packard, that's another car potentially in a dodgy position. Let's very quickly go down to Kieran. Hopefully we'll hear from Kieran very shortly for an update on what's gone on with the Darkside Developments car of Dylan Victor. Let's head back down to him now.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a really tough weekend for Ryan Parkin in that car 6. So basically what happened is Dylan going down the straight, something in the engine blew and it threw oil all up the windscreen, hence all the smoke and everything. I don't know exactly what it is at this stage, but something in the engine blew, shucking oil at the windscreen, and hence why he pulled off the track. So big shame for the car 6 and the Darkside boys down here, because they've still got number 89 with Scott Parkin in the race, so hopefully he can make up some position. So back to you.
Class C leaders are right together as they go round Wilson Heaven, and the safety car is coming out! The safety car is coming out, and with 11 minutes of the race to go, surely no more racing laps today in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship, and that is going to be what James Pickford did not want to see. He was closing in at a second a lap. There was probably 5 or 6 more laps to go, and now there ain't. I mean, if there is a safety car, which there is, and there is more racing laps, it could work out. It's a big if, though, I reckon, Chris, because there's a couple of cars to recover here.
Yeah, I cannot believe that. And really poor timing for the previous Class B leader, because the Rob Boston Racing Lotus has just been into service penalty, but now is going to be sat at the end of pit lane until the end of time, waiting for them to gather the cars back up. But, man, you could not make it up, could you? 11 minutes left on the clock, and it's going to be a big ask to get this race back underway with what sounds like it's going to have to be oil cleared up as well from that report from Kieran. If it's thrown up the oil, presumably some of it from the Darkside Developments Audi TT number 6 has made its way onto the racetrack. That's going to need some quick dry or some detergent-based fluid down there as well. So while it will have closed up the 5.7 second gap between Pickford and Blenko, albeit with the sole remaining Darkside Audi TT in between them, I think that is probably the final nail in the coffin. Nonetheless, an extraordinary recovery for that Audi RS3 crew. And what should be a second win of the season for Simon Major now.
Yeah, and don't forget, if it hadn't been for that 1 minute penalty for overtaking behind the safety car, then Pickford and Lawson would be leading this race. Right, where's this leaving thing? So Class B, let's check in on that. So that's now Sam Dennis from, it will be, I think, is it going to be the Cooks back up to second here?
I think it's... well, at the moment, it's still Sam Heading and Peter Mansfield, because it hasn't they've just actually been released now, as has the number 80, though I don't believe that penalty is going to have count as served, because the 80 served it under the safety car, whereas the Rob Boston car was in pit lane.
Before the safety car.
Well before. It was pulling out, and then safety car was called. So... I think we might have to wait a lap to get an update on Class B.
Yes.
But in Class C, it should still be, the Jack Collins BMW, the German Autoworks car that is leading the way there.
Yeah, it is, from Paul Sabiani in the BMW compact. So
so that's the...
there they are on screen now, actually, those two.
So the championship leading car in Class C... in second place. Now, that car hasn't finished outside the top 2 all year. 2 second place finishes in the first 2 meetings of the season, then victory last time out in Anglesey. They're having a very good year, and I can only assume will be our new overall championship leader as well, with the demise of Patagil and Nylan in their Class B car that was leading the overall championship going into this weekend. Obviously, we'll get confirmation of that a little bit later on. And then third in that category is going to be the 37, the Neil Luke driven. Oh yeah, there's still the Z4 there from Luke and Luke Racing, which should be back-to-back podium finishes for that car.
Yeah, so there's the car in second place in Class C that was just on the point of starting to try and make a move on the class leading car, Jack Collins, when the safety car came out. So that's one that I suspect may not got a chance to try to complete that move and go for the Class C victory, but so close.
This Mazda again.
Yeah,
it's got a huge train of cars behind it. So the leaders are just coming past us now on the start-finish straight. These guys are coming into Brundle and Nelson about 5 corners back. So somebody needs to tell that Mazda to hurry up.
Well, I expect there will be a word with the clerk of the course afterwards, because this is the third time now we've seen that car, different drivers, delaying cars behind the safety car, and it really shouldn't be happening like that. They should be catching up with the safety car train, and when it's safe to do so, obviously. If you're passing the incident, then you don't necessarily want to be getting your foot down too close to the floor. Kieran, back in the pit lane.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we saw the rain earlier on, and we thought it might be the last of it. But if you just look up there, the clouds are getting a lot darker, a lot more universal, and I have just felt some spits down in the pit lane. So it may get a little bit extra in the last 8 minutes of this race. You never know what to expect with Club Enduro. So yeah, I mean, look at that cloud. It's absolutely mad. Back to you.
Yeah, a little bit extra, and. I'm sure the championship's got some mad riz as well. What's some other Gen Z terms we can use?
You're asking the wrong person.
This, that's a bit skibbity for the Dark Side Development team. I don't even know if I'm using that one.
No, probably not.
Right, to be honest. If you're under the age of 24 and you'd like to let us know,
please do.
Yeah, but just put it in the YouTube chat. Don't email us, because you don't know what email is.
No. Right, 5 minutes to go before the end of the race here. So, unless it started this time, then it is going to finish behind the safety car, this race, unfortunately. Which is a pity.
We were such a grandstand finish in prospects there, and it has been a fantastic race despite the constant intervention of the safety cars. The 5th one of the race, but it has been enthralling.
It has, and there's especially in this last sort of half an hour or so, there's been something happening every lap, every minute. Some new dimension has been added. With the retirement of Ian Jones. Don't know what happened to that BMW, but that just came out of the blue. The battle for the lead in Class B, which was then dissipated by the penalty for Sam Heading and Peter Mansfield, and the Class C battle that was about to ignite as well before this final safety car.
By the way, you wanted to know what was happening in Class B, right? So because we're running out of contenders basically in Class B, because they had so many things going wrong for them. So the Mansfield Heading Lotus Elise is still second in class and 9th overall. So it is, the Simmons and Dennis car leading the way there, the reigning champions, as we suspected. 3rd in that category, though, is going to be the Cooks still, the 183. So the Stephen Cook Audi TT. Where am I looking? Yeah, so that's another of the Motion Motorsport Run machines. And yeah, that is because we're just running out of people. Yeah. The car that was leading the championship going into this weekend is 5th in class at the moment, 19th overall. Now remember, that was Will Puttergill lost 3 laps in the gravel trap over at Ritchie's in the first part of this race. So that's been a decent recovery. But yeah, obviously we lost Jonathan Packer earlier on as well. We lost the Tidmarsh Webster Ginetta, and then there was more dramas, wasn't there? Packers obviously had a fair few of them as well.
And that's the car from second place in Class C that is out of the race. The race goes on to its last lap behind the safety car.
And the car that was going to take the lead in the championship, the Class C leader, that hasn't finished outside the top 2 all season long. That is hugely significant. Less than 3 minutes to go in this race. And the car that was standing to gain the most in terms of the overall championship now out of contention. So, I mean, to be honest, Ian, I'm out of mental arithmetic at this point. I've had my fill.
It'll all get worked out before Alton Park.
Yes,
and,
quite. This has been an extraordinary race in terms of the championship.
It has. It's maybe turned it on its head. Isn't quite the right phrase, but it's blown it wide open.
No,
certainly,
it's been blasted into space, been musked. So
oh gosh, look at that cloud.
that is ominous, isn't it? And is that rain, or is that like God rays coming down on the left hand side?
I think it's raining somewhere over there.
It probably is. Oh yeah, if I look out the window, I can definitely see. So. Right, so we had top 3 in Class B, either out of the race, not starting, or sitting in a gravel trap for 3 laps. Class C leader parked to the side of the road. We had the Class A leader caught in pit lane for an abnormally long time.
And the Class A second place car.
And the second place car with damage.
Yeah, that retired
on that
halfway
car.
through.
Yep. Did it retire?
It did retire, yeah.
It did retire, okay.
Yeah.
So we're really we're running out of cars.
Well, it's just as well. This is the last lap of the race.
Yes.
There's 1 minute and 9 seconds to go, and they're not going to make it back round before the end. There's going to be no more racing today in the Tegiwa Club Enduro Championship. I'm not quite sure how many actual racing laps we have actually had, and what proportion of the 2 hours will have been spent in under racing conditions. And TSL will give us the answers to that after the race, no doubt. But this is why I've got to keep going, because there's cars that could still break down even behind the safety car, as Hayes and Subiani have proved. Now, of course, because it's an endurance race, the rules about who is actually classified will be a bit different. So we'll have to wait and see what the official classification is at the end. Interestingly, safety car lights have gone out. So they're not going to get around here in 25 seconds anyway.
But I'm seeing a green flag being prepared, not a checkered flag.
Yeah, but
in the marshal's box.
They're not going to get around in time to see the green flag.
No, you're right. It's 10 seconds left on the clock. It would be quite extraordinary if they did, though. No, I think they're going to have to replace that green flag with a checkered flag anytime soon, because the clock is now at 0 and they're coming out of Murray's now. It will be the dash, and yes, the checkered flag is now being prepared.
Yeah, so safety car, has it pulled in? Yes, it has. So up to the line they come, but they are going to see the safety car as they accelerate towards it. So the win goes to Alan Blanco and Simon Major. Second place goes the way of James Pickford and Wayne Lawson. Third place goes to Josh Lawson and David Blakey. Simerson and Stanton are fourth in the BMW. Fifth place to Shepherd and Fenwick. Sixth and winning Class B, it's Samuel Dennis and Ethan Simmons, I should say. Seventh place to the Etheridges. Eighth place to Scott Parkin, although he's a lap down. Ninth place and second place in Class B, Peter Mansfield and Sam Heading. Rounding out the top 10 is our Class C winner, Oliver Harris and Jack Collins, ahead of Scott Ferguson and Neil Luke. Henry and Olivia Salisbury are 12th. 13th are Edward and Sam Cook, who are third in Class B as well. And, a crazy race, made all the more crazy by the fact that we had that little spectacle of the cars sprinting towards the checkered flag, as it turned out.
Yeah, great stuff. That was a very enjoyable race, and definitely earning its place as the best value for money racing here in the UK. Not just value for money, it's just a super enjoyable race all around. Great drama in terms of the championship. There's going to be a lot of maths having to be done to work out the standings. The championship is going to look so different going into Alton Park, which of course is another of our live streamed events in September. And then we round out the season at Donington Park in October.
And it's starting to rain.
Well, not for naught now, isn't it? It's
Well,
just gonna make Kieran's job harder in Park
that's a
Ferme.
shame.
Oh dear. Hope he's still got that umbrella.
Let's have a look at the results. It is a win then for number 18, Simon Major, and Alan Blanco in the Cooper TCR. Second place the Audi of Wayne Lawson and James Pickford, the RS3 TCR car, 6/10 per second behind, although of course that's pretty academic given the safety car. Third place to the 111 car, which is David Blakey and Josh Lawton. Fourth place number 55, Richard Stanton and Paul Simerson. Fifth to number 10, which is Rob Fennick and Andrew Shepherd. Rounding out the top 6 and winning Class B, number 1, Ethan Simmons and Sam Dennis. 7th place to number 80, Andrew and Christopher Etheridge. 8th to number 89, Scott Parkin. 9th place to 119 car, Peter Mansfield and Sam Heading. 2nd place in Class B. 10th place in winning Class C, Oliver Harris and Jack Collins in the BMW E36 3 litre. 2nd place in that class and 11th overall, number 37, Scott Ferguson and Neil Luke. And then 3rd in that class and 12th overall, a great result for Henry and Olivia Salisbury in the Honda Civic Type R. 13th overall and 3rd in Class C, Edward Cook and Sam Cook as well. And then Senna Osman and Jodie House were next up in the number 171 E30. Then it was Matthew Simonite 15th, Edward Christie 16th, Hazen Subiani shown on the screen as 17th, although they didn't make it to the checkered flag, so we'll check the official classification at the end. Putskill and Nyland, despite losing 3 laps in the gravel trap, were 18th. The Sparrows were 19th, and again, although not making it to the checkered flag, Ryan Parker and Dylan Brichter in the Audi TT. So that rounds out the top 20. Good news is that Kieran has retained the umbrella, so he will hopefully be able to have a word with some drivers at the end of that race. A reminder, though, that there are still 3 more races to come this evening, if we can squeeze them all in, here at Snetterton, the Tegiwa Type R Trophy, the 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup, and the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. I think we can wave goodbye to the possibility of 2 Type R Trophy races now,
yes,
given that we've only got an hour and a half to the curfew. But
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
the curfew was at 6:30.
Should, all being well, and with everything going to plan, hopefully we're to get those 3 races in between now and the end of the day, if the rain doesn't throw too big a spanner in the works. Kieran's down there. He doesn't necessarily have any drivers to talk to at the moment, is the only problem here.
They're all stuck in the scrutineering bay at the moment.
So I think you may need to go to them rather than wait for them to come to you, Kieran, is what I would say. If you're going to try and find anyone, you've just got to work out which bay and which garage they're in and try and encourage them out to talk to you. But good luck with that.
Yeah, it's an enviable job, isn't it? No, I'm glad I'm up here and not down there today. So I used to do Kieran's job down there, and definitely trying to squeeze in all of those Club Enduro interviews when you've still got racing to come.
Yes,
was definitely not the best thing to try and do, but it does look like he's at least found one driver to have a word with, and
that's good.
I do believe it is from the race-winning car. So we should be ready to throw down to him any moment now. We just saw the celebrations down in Park Ferme. Unfortunately, a lot of the cars being kept in scrutineering for quite a bit longer than we would normally see with the sprint races. Of course, quite a few checks to have to go and do after 2 hours of racing. And a very eventful 2 hours of racing as well. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. So congratulations to all of our class winners in there. Definitely a very hard-fought race as well with the conditions we had at the start of the race. Remember, we were under safety car for quite a bit while the guys explored the grip conditions out there. So, hopefully we should be ready to throw down to Kieran any second now. And we can, in fact, hear from Kieran.
Thank you very much. Yes, so down here with the winner, Alan Blanco, in the number 18 Cupra. That was a race.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough race. Simon did a great job going out, first of all, in those very tricky conditions. Handed over to me, and we just had no front end in the car at all. So would like to say, to Jonesy in that one, he was robbed in that one. That was probably his race. But we worked hard, the team worked hard all weekend. It's the first time pairing up with Simon Major, and we've come out on top. So that's great.
Yeah, nice way to obviously end the weekend. So how was it in terms of the traffic management and everything?
To be honest, traffic was absolutely fine. It was just getting used to the changing of conditions. Obviously, when I went out, it was very greasy and it was getting drier, so I had to push a little bit more to get more out of the car every lap. But no, it was very good, and here it comes again. Yeah. So we just missed that. But yeah, no, it was a great race, but Jonesy was robbed in that one.
Sorry, just to break up all the people running away from the rain. That's absolutely mental. But yeah, you've just about missed out on that. But obviously, we had a lot of rain at the start. How are the changeable conditions out there?
Yeah, well, obviously Simon had the worst of it. He had to do the start of the race, so he had to manage it and managed it very well. But obviously, when I went out, it was getting drier and drier, so you have to just go a little bit quicker every lap and hope the back hangs on. And unfortunately, we lost loads of front end grip, and we were a bit of a sitting duck, so we were probably saved a little bit by the safety car there.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the win.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right, let's swing around to try and get our Class B winner. Sam, how was that?
It was a lot of fun. My teammate Ethan did a fantastic job in the first stint, and I just brought it home. It was nice. We had some fantastic fighting with the Lotus Elise all the way through the race. It was phenomenal fun out there.
So it's a lot of cars. Obviously, you were very busy in that mid-pack as well. So was that tricky?
Yes, especially during the wet, watching it on the live stream with the my other driver it looked very busy, and there was a lot of very close racing for us as well.
Yeah, very, very, very well done, obviously, to end the day like that.
Thank you. It's great to be back on the top step after last year.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, awesome. Right, which one's which class? Sorry.
Class C.
Class C winners. Excellent. So how was that?
It was good. It was sketchy, I'd say. I think I was out in second, so Ollie gave me a really good car to get into in a decent spot. He had a tricky stint. I know he did. Dried up for mine. We had a bit of an issue that I just had to manage for the last bit of the race. So second place really caught up. So the safety car really saved us there a little bit. So yeah, very happy with the win.
And how was that first stint?
It was torrential rain, and it was just absolute really difficult to handle with the semi-slicks, and it was just really difficult. And with our rear-wheel drive car, it's so much more difficult in the wet compared to the Civic, which was front-wheel drive. So yeah, really.
And obviously, there's a massive variety of cars out there as well. So I'm guessing you had to really try and push to keep up with some of the front-wheel drive, especially.
Yeah, it was really difficult because we had loads of understeer, and then powering out the corners was so much more difficult than the Civic. So yeah, really good fun though.
Yeah, absolutely. So nice way to end the weekend for you.
Definitely, yeah. Hopefully again next time.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations both.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you very much. All right, I think that's all our class winners over here done. Yeah, we're carrying underneath the shelter at the moment, but I can see some cars out on the grid. So, Ian and Chris, take it away.